What's up, everybody? I am reviewing all 7 of Quentin Tarantino's movies in preparation for his brand new film coming out on January 8th, The Hateful Eight. So after Jackie Brown, Quentin Tarantino hadn't made a movie for 6 years. That was his longest drought of not making a movie directed or written by him. But you know what? It just might have been worth the wait. In 2003, Quentin Tarantino was releasing his newest film, Kill Bill. So Kill Bill is divided into 2 parts, Volume 1 and Volume 2, intended to originally be a movie that was going to be over 4 hours long. But after receiving some pressure from production companies, he pretty much cut the film into 2 pieces, so I'm going to review Volume 1 and Volume 2 separately. So Kill Bill Volume 1 is a martial arts film. It was released in 2003, and it's basically a revenge story. It's probably the best revenge story ever told. It tells the story of Beatrix Kiddo, who looks to seek revenge on her former lover after he attempts to assassinate her and her child, her unborn child. That's basically it. That's the story that you need in order to follow this film. It is a revenge story. It's cut and dry. It's just simple and as plain as can be. She basically makes a list of the people who tried to assassinate her, and she goes to basically get the revenge. That's how the movie is, and that's how it flows, and you know what? I love the simplicity of that. If you've been watching my other reviews, you will notice that there are some similar Quentin Tarantino movie tropes that are still existing throughout this film. 1, incredible cast. That's a given. 2, non-linear storytelling. There are some elements in this movie that are told out of order, and that helps to develop and push the story along. 3, pop culture and cinematic references. Those are all huge pieces of Kill Bill. Let me go ahead and get this out the way. I love this movie. I love Kill Bill. It is incredible to me. It is definitely one of Quentin Tarantino's best crafted films on every level. I also think it has the best action of any Quentin Tarantino movie, hands down. Like the martial arts and the fight sequences in this movie are just off the page. And it is just so violent and bloody and just gory, and I just love it. It is his most violent film up until this point. Like, I just love it. He kicked it up so many notches. I mean, it's really over stylized. It's so over exaggerated, the violence in this movie, but you just gotta love it because it's gorgeous to look at. Like I said, there's so many cinematic pop culture references in this movie. It pays homage to blaxploitation movies, spaghetti westerns, Japanese yakuza movies, Japanese anime movies, kung fu movies in the 60s and 70s. It just is a blend of all of those things. And I just love when Quentin Tarantino is taking many of the influences that helped him become a filmmaker, and he puts it and injects it into his films, because it's really enjoyable to see that stuff. I mean, like I said, there's a piece of Japanese anime in this movie that completely just, it would throw you off, but it's Quentin Tarantino, so you have to expect those untraditional and unconventional storytelling methods to be in his movies. I mean, seriously, Uma Thurman gives such an incredible performance in this movie as Beatrix Kiddo. I mean, you really see the revenge in her eyes. Like, she is torn apart, she is heartbroken, and she is seeking just blood in every endeavor and every person that she comes across who betrayed her, who tried to assassinate her. It's just a traditional and old-fashioned way of storytelling that just still resonates today. You just gotta love that. Not to mention, I think the bride, aka Beatrix Kiddo, is probably one of Quentin Tarantino's greatest characters that he ever created. If you look at my other reviews, I talk about his characters that he creates, and some of the greatest characters that exist in cinema history come from Quentin Tarantino. She is, you know, certainly almost at the top of that list, if not at the top. I mean, just such a great character that he created in Beatrix Kiddo. I mean, shout out to the rest of the cast in this movie as well. You got Vivica A. Fox, you got Lucy Liu, you got David Carradine, who's the villain in this movie. He's Bill. He's the one that she's going after. You also have a small cameo of Michael Madsen in this movie. He's a bigger role in Volume 2. But again, like I said, a star-studded cast as usual with Quentin Tarantino. He has just such veteran A-list actors that are just so credible and bring just bravado and charisma and just, you know, this veteran professional presence to all of his movies. It's just extraordinary to see all of this talent. Like, Kill Bill Volume 1 is just so good. Like, I really enjoy this movie. I have a blast every time I watch it. There's a lot of humor in it as well. Like, there's definitely some dark black comedy that exists within this movie, and I just love every time I watch it. Did I mention the fight sequences though? Like, seriously, the fight sequences are just like A1 off the page, especially the climax of the movie where she fights the Crazy 88 or whatever they're called. Like, all the Japanese, you could, like, it's just like phenomenal choreographed fight sequence, just like off the page violence, just blood and guts and swords, samurai swords and nunchucks, and just everything you can want. If you love like kung fu and that style of movie, That sequence is just such a good representation of that. You have to see it. Folks, if you do not notice, I get incredibly excited when I talk about Quentin Tarantino movies. Like I said, he is probably my favorite director, and just the things that he does in his movies, I love it. I love how unconventional his movies are, and just the things that he does. Like even that fight sequence, most of it was in black and white. Like in the middle of the movie's in color, but just in an instance it turned black and white. Completely unconventional, completely out of nowhere. It's like that stark Wizard of Oz transition when it went from the sepia black and white to color. Like it's just out of nowhere, and you just gotta love it. You gotta love that spice and those new elements that he throws into his movies, because they just completely catch you off guard. So again, Kill Bill Volume 1 is extraordinary. Certainly better than Volume 2. I'm definitely going to talk about Volume 2, but Volume 1 and Volume 2 are two very, very different movies. This is action-packed from top to bottom. Volume 2 is very much slower, more methodical of a movie, so I'll definitely dissect the differences between Volume 1 and Volume 2 in my review of Kill Bill Volume 2. But until then, the score I am going to give Kill Bill Volume 1 is going to be a 9.3 out of 10. Yes, a 9.3 out of 10. Like I said, this movie is just extraordinary. I love it from beginning to end. Definitely at the top, you know, of my favorite Quentin Tarantino movies. And yeah, it's just extraordinary. Go check it out. Alright folks, that's all I got for my review of Kill Bill Volume 1. Check out my review of Kill Bill Volume 2 coming up. As always, follow me on social media, JRW the Creator on Twitter and Instagram. Go check me out on my website, jordanrwilliams.com. And then check out all my other movie reviews of Quentin Tarantino's filmography in preparation for The Hateful Eight. And as always, folks, I'll see y'all next time.